Back in Syracuse, how's the song go? Take Me Home, Country Roads, West Virginia. Well, Bob Huggins is home, a graduate of West Virginia, a native of that state, and he's brought that winning tradition back to Morgantown. And here's his starting lineup tonight, the Big East tournament champions, and they'll look this way off the opening tip. There's Deshaun Butler. Keep your eye on number one. He is number one. Joe Mazzulla takes over at the other point guard, and Mazzulla has football mentality and a tough defender as he replaces Truck Bryant on the front line. They've got some size to match up with Kentucky, and Wellington Smith, Devin Ebanks, and Kevin Jones. They're all long, and they are tough rebounders. For Kentucky, number one seed and the only number one seed, or the number one of the number one seeds, along with Duke, Eric Bledsoe, John Wall, the freshman player of the year in the nation, and the SEC player of the year, and Darius Miller, the backcourt with Patrick Patterson. He's the senior member, a junior at 6'9", and another sensational freshman, second-team All-America, DeMarcus Cousins at 6'11". And John Calipari, 50 years of age, his first season in Lexington as head coach of the Wildcats in the last 5 years. His teams have won 30 games or more. No coach in the history of the game can ever make that claim. And tonight's game brought to you in HD TV by LG. Life's good. Our officials tonight will be Curtis Shaw, Ted Valentine, and Jamie Lucky. And how they call this game, Jay Billis, could be critical. What do you see? Well, these are two physical teams. A fast whistle could make it maybe too interesting.
Well, West Virginia is a grinded-out team. This is a team that wants to make Kentucky play as many possessions as possible against their half-court defense. They want to play 5-on-5 in the half-court, where they are long, they are pretty darn athletic, and they're a very good rebounding team. And I'll tell you one thing, West Virginia, their offense has to be the most important part of their defense. They cannot take bad shots, and they cannot turn the ball over, because that's where Kentucky excels, is in transition.
And Kentucky would like to get on the run in a hurry and pile up a lot of points. They're a high-scoring team. West Virginia likes to keep it in the 50s and 60s. Kentucky in white with a first opportunity, and this is that sensational freshman, John Wall, number 11.
1-3-1 to start out the game. A 1-3-1 zone with Devin Ebanks out top. His length and athleticism will be a big factor in this game. When they go man, he will guard John Wall at the point.
Bledsoe has it go off the foot of Deshaun Butler of West Virginia, so Kentucky will play it in from the sideline. 16 on the shot clock.
This is a very difficult defense for younger players to figure out. They can't go east-west, you have to go north-south.
What's interesting about it, the littlest man, Joe Mazzulla, is down on the baseline in the 1-3-1, and DeMarcus Cousins gives Kentucky the first basket.
2-2-1 three-quarter court pressure right now. They want to make Mazzulla handle the ball. This team turned it over 23 times against Washington.
That was the bad news, and then Bob Huggins says, and we still won by a considerable amount.
Lob to start the game off.
At the length of DeMarcus Cousins denying that pass.
That's usually a play that Bob Huggins likes to run for Deshaun Butler, but right out of the gate he runs it for Joe Mazzulla, smallest player on the floor for West Virginia.
Huggins, of course, a great career and closing in on 700 wins. Coached at Cincinnati primarily, 16 seasons. And Mazzulla, there's a turnover.
Well, Mazzulla turned the corner. He needed to take one more dribble to get a better angle to get that ball into Kevin Jones. That angle just led Jones out of bounds. And when you're holding a man off in the post, it's awfully difficult to break contact and go get that ball.
Ebanks out at the point of that 1-3-1. From the side, Darius Miller unable to connect, and here come the Mountaineers.
One thing that West Virginia doesn't want to allow are shots from the catch spot. Wherever Kentucky catches it, West Virginia wants them to take the shot from another spot.
Wellington Smith hits a three, and the West Virginia Mountaineers claim a 3-2 early lead.
Wellington Smith, that's his 36th three-point made field goal on the year.
Bledsoe can't get inside, back outside to the big man Patterson, and he's short on a three-point attempt. Ebanks rebounds. In the corner, Jones, and he nails a three. Who says West Virginia isn't a good shooting team? They nail their first two trays.
Kevin Jones made 3 3-point shots against Washington. He was the best part of their perimeter offense.
Inside it goes to Cousins. Defended by West Virginia.
This is a very good defensive team, West Virginia. They have length. They've held their last 6 opponents to under 60.
Butler, it rattles out. Here comes Wall the other way, 2-on-2. Gets his own rebound and scores.
How quick was that second jump? Joe Mazzulla looked like he was there to try to draw a charge. There was some contact, but not enough to warrant the call. But John Wall knew he missed that shot as soon as he let it go, and his second jump was very quick.
6'4", but he plays like a 6'7" guard.
Kentucky not out in passing lanes. So far, West Virginia's been able to make whatever pass they want on the perimeter.
Wellington Smith misses on his 3. Here come the Wildcats, down by 2. A one-man fast break. Wall, what a pass to Cousins. Freshman to freshman to tie it at 6.
You know, Dick, we've said this before. Some players can look, other players can see, and John Wall sees everything on the floor. Really unique in that ability.
Banks at 6'9", can handle the ball. Has the ball deflected away, but it goes to Mazzulla. He can't score. Out of bounds to Kentucky.
That shot changed by the presence of DeMarcus Cousins. Look at this pass. Just threads it right underneath the arm of Wellington Smith. Just don't see passes like that. Da'Sean Butler tries to get down and knock it away, but that was thrown in the only place where DeMarcus Cousins could catch it.
Not only the pass, but his ability to turn his body sidewise and slide through the defense without committing a charge.
Yeah, just incredible body balance by a great athlete.
Another great pass by Wall. That's going to be a foul before the shot of Cousins. Looked to be Mazzulla reaching in.
Terrific catch by DeMarcus Cousins. He's just got great hands.
Cousins making a lot of second-team All-Americas, and Wall on every first-team All-America team. Here's Wall. Again to Cousins. And another easy 2. That's quite a partnership, these 2 freshmen.
Well, he is getting right past Devin Ebanks, and Ebanks is 6'9". He's got amazing length, and he's done a pretty good job of staying in front of the point guards that he has guarded in the past, but I would venture to guess that John Wall is the fastest point guard he has guarded thus far this season.
Foul underneath. We'll go to a break. Great passes by Wall, and Cousins receives another easy 2. It's a matchup of the West Virginia strength on defense against the Kentucky offense, and who will prevail tonight? On the other hand, Kentucky's defense, the same numbers as West Virginia's. They're tough both ends of the court. West Virginia's had trouble scoring.
Actually, I think Kentucky's defense is what leads to its offense and has led to its offense throughout this tournament. It's because they defend and they block shots so well that they're able to get out and run and get easy baskets. And thus far in the game, it has been Kentucky getting the ball into the paint. They have been scoring all their points in the lane, and all of West Virginia's points have come from the perimeter. I think West Virginia can rely on the perimeter game to win this ball game for them.
6 unanswered by Kentucky. And all 8 points in the paint to take the 2-point lead.
Nobody guarding Joe Mazzulla. He's going to have to pull the trigger on one of those shots.
Jones can't hit the jumper. Here comes Bledsoe. The foul before the timeout was on Bledsoe was first.
When Bledsoe or Wall grab a rebound as guards, and Kentucky does send all 5 guys to the defensive board, they can really start a quick break. They just take it themselves and just race the other end.
Bledsoe feeding inside to Patterson, the junior. He's from West Virginia. Travel on Patrick Patterson, who played his high school ball at Huntington High School in West Virginia, the only Mountaineer State product in this game. Mazzulla coast to coast, and then denied by Patterson, and the save by Wall.
It was almost a no-look block.
And look at Wall, just so quickly down court, plus a foul.
There's an example of defense leading to offense, and this has been how Kentucky has played all year long. It's almost like Patrick Patterson was giving Joe Mazzulla the look away and daring him to come in there and then just wiped it away. And John Wall, that's all he needs, is that little bit of space to get to the rim. And He has been getting into the lane at will. No one has been able to stop the ball yet for West Virginia, and Wall is just waltzing into the lane.
9 straight points for the Wildcats. Wall with 5 of those, plus a couple of assists on Cousins' baskets.
West Virginia likes to run some 5-out motion. They keep the post open most of the time.
Another steal. It's Wall again, both ends of the court. What a superb athlete. On the sideline is the call, denying Wall another one-man break.
You have to be really strong with the ball. Kentucky is not only athletic, and they get out and try to really pressure the ball, but they have very active hands as well. They are going for steals. They don't just come over to stop you. They come over to steal the ball. When you take it to the basket, they don't come over to take a charge. They come over to block the shot.
Wellington with Cousins on him. Look at that big right hand and arm extension by Cousins. He has a 7'6" wingspan. Inside, not there, and Patterson rebounds. Here it goes. Wall 2-on-2 with Bledsoe. And it's deflected at the last minute by Ebanks.
Well, John Wall in his last 6 games averaging over 15 points per game and over 8 assists per game. He's also averaged 4 turnovers, but he has been absolutely magnificent. He just understands the game. He plays with great pace. And when he puts the ball on the deck, all he needs is just that one step on you, and he is absolutely gone. You're looking at the little numbers on the front of his jersey, and all of a sudden you see those big numbers on the back.
Darius Miller went out looking dazed there, and this entire Kentucky team with Bledsoe scoring, putting a daze in the eyes of West Virginia's defense. That's 11 unanswered points by the Wildcats.
Just a set play and nicely run out of bounds underneath, and it shows DeMarcus Cousins a very good passer as well.
Ebanks from outside, well off the mark. Patterson clears.
That's not Ebanks' game. It's one dribble pull-up. He is a mid-range player, but off of one pass, that's not the shot he wants.
So Darius Miller went out shaking his head, and it looked like he'd taken an elbow or run into someone, and he's being attended on the sidelines with DeAndre Liggins in the game now for Kentucky. Bledsoe splitting the defense, gets it to Cousins. That's going to go against Cousins on a charge.
Take a look at the out of bounds underneath and watch Bledsoe. When Bledsoe throws it in, he is immediately, Joe Mazzulla cheats to the ball and he immediately cuts to the basket. Just very well read, not only by Bledsoe to make that cut under the basket when the defender turned his head to go for the ball, but also by DeMarcus Cousins.
Another top freshman, Daniel Orton, comes in. He's 6'10" from Oklahoma City, giving Cousins a breather. Another foul away from the ball.
Eric Bledsoe.
That'll be a second on Bledsoe. That's a critical whistle. Masters Live streams exclusive video of Amen Corner Live 15 and 16 Live. Featured Group Live, plus Masters Extra, showing bonus coverage of the entire field at cbssports.com/Masters Live and Masters.com. Bledsoe sits with 2. Butler can't hit, but the rebound to Wellington Smith for the Mountaineers. They missed their last 8 shots, trying to snap this string of 11 straight Kentucky points.
Anytime there's a shot from one side of the floor, West Virginia is going to load up with 2 rebounders on the offensive end on the other side of the rim.
One of the best offensive rebounding teams in the nation. In fact, 2 of their starters have more offensive rebounds than defensive. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Jones rattles out. Look at how high at 6'4" Wall was to claim the rebound.
Look how fast he gets it down to the other end. If you run with him, you'll get the ball.
Oh, good play by Mazzulla, and Orton just in the wrong place at the wrong time to get the foul.
There's where the length of West Virginia was helpful in getting that deflection. Devin Ebanks goes up with those long arms over a 7-foot wingspan, and Joe Mazzulla, he is one tough kid. He's a left-hander, and that left shoulder, he missed all of last year because of a congenital problem with that shoulder. And he has played hurt all this season. Had to actually shoot with his right hand for the first half of the year.
Shutout field goals for 5:40, nearly 6 minutes without a field goal for West Virginia. Team fouls now for Kentucky, 2 against West Virginia. Smith, he can't hit the 3. So a couple of early trays for the Mountaineers, but that's their 6 points. They've missed 10 shots in a row since.
Kentucky needs to go inside to Cousins. He's been working hard. He's awfully difficult for Wellington Smith to contain in there.
And Smith trying to block Cousins, picks up the foul, his first.
Wellington Smith is a very good post defender and a very versatile defender. He did a terrific job in the Big East Tournament final guarding Greg Monroe of Georgetown, but this is a much different challenge because DeMarcus Cousins is much bigger and much stronger.
Missoula on Wall, into Cousins.
Smith, when he turns it back,
force that shot, and look at Wall save it. Doing a ballet toe dance on the baseline to save, and then the shot in and out for Miller. Somebody looking to end the drought here for the black jerseyed Mountaineers of West Virginia. 11.5 to play, opening half, 13-6, and he in front.
West Virginia hasn't gotten anything easy.
Missoula, not known as an outstanding shooter, but he hits his first three. How much did they need that?
And it's not just his first three of the game, that's his first three of the season. He was 0 of 6 from 3 before that shot, but we mentioned before that he needs to take that shot. If they're not going to guard him, he still has to take it.
In the corner is Bledsoe. He hits 9 out of 12. No, that was Liggins taking that three-point try. His first miss.
Kentucky doesn't want to turn into a jump shooting team here. They want to keep driving the ball, getting into the paint, or get it inside.
Ebanks trying to get inside, and it's a dual possession. Arrow points to West Virginia. 13-9, the Wildcats lead. West Virginia unable to score inside the line, and totally out of character for the Mountaineers. All 3 of their makes are threes for 9 points.
Well, in that 0 for 6 has been a number of shots that were changed by the shot blocking prowess of Kentucky. Now, Kentucky's only blocked 1 shot, but they have gone after every 2-point shot that was put up.
Dennis Kalichla, the freshman from Turkey, is in the game for the first time for West Virginia. He gave Bob Huggins some really good minutes in the Washington win on Thursday night.
A couple of scores. He can score with either hand around the basket. He's big and strong and can hold his position.
Darnell Dotson, number 3, in for the first time for Kentucky. The foul was on Dotson, his first, and team fouls now are 5 for Kentucky and 3 for West Virginia.
Liggins guarding Deshaun Butler. He can take him down and post him.
Around the perimeter, unable to penetrate inside against this tough Kentucky defense. Casey Mitchell, number 33, in for the first time, and it's a travel against the Mountaineers.
No, they got a foul. Looked like it was on Dennis Kalichla.
Kalichla thought he was blocking, and he said, "I thought I wasn't moving," but here's the 6'9", 19-year-old freshman from Istanbul with his first foul.
Where Kalichla can struggle at times is on the defensive end. And Kentucky has to keep getting the ball in the paint. That's where they have a huge advantage.
Wall takes it inside. It's out of bounds to whom? The officials looking at each other, and Ted Valentine across the way says it goes to Kentucky, and the Mountaineer fans not happy with that call.
But Wall really had to loft that ball up high when Devin Ebanks came over to try to block that shot. Those are some long arms and a very athletic player that made it awfully difficult for Wall to get to the rim. Ebanks is going to have an awfully difficult time staying in front of Wall. He's going to shoot it if you go underneath.
He had the 3, and there's a second chance as Dotson gets the long rebound.
I think that's what West Virginia wants to do, is force perimeter shots. You want to try to force them off the dribble rather than standstill shots, but I would rather have Kentucky shooting jump shots than getting into the lane.
See Perry Stevenson in for the first time, but that's Dotson, the good 3-point shooter, off the mark. Kalichla rebounds. Here comes the West Virginia Mountaineers. 9.5 to go in this first half. Trailing Kentucky by 4.
Kentucky has not been shooting the ball particularly well in the last couple ball games. They were 2 of 16 from 3 against Washington, and even though Dotson is a very good shooter on the year, he's only made 6 of his last 24 from 3, including that last miss. And if he doesn't hit some shots, he's not going to be playing very long.
Patterson back in, and Stevenson out for Kentucky. 20 on the shot clock on this possession for West Virginia.
Kentucky doing a good job guarding this 5-out motion, especially that little rub screen at the free throw line. That could be very hard to guard when the cutter curls off that screen.
Deshaun Butler trying to get into the scorebook. He's well off the mark. Out of bounds to Kentucky.
Every shot, Dick, is contested. I mean, there is a long arm right in your face trying to block that shot.
Deshaun Butler 0 for 4, number 3 scorer all time in West Virginia history with 2,067 points. Only the great Jerry West and Hot Rod Hundley, whose number 33 was retired this year, have scored more points than Butler at West Virginia.
Now Missoula on Wall. Missoula a little bit quicker than Ebanks.
Wall sliding inside and then sliding to the court, draws the foul.
I don't know who there is on this West Virginia roster, as good as they are defensively, that could stay in front of John Wall. It just blows right by him. And Missoula's a good on-ball defender. Just blew right past him.
They called it on Kalichla, however, his second foul. Wall at the line. He wears number 11. He said because Wall, he said the double L at the end of my name reminds me of 2-1. So that's his thinking of picking that number to carry on the blue and white of Kentucky. Looking for his 6th point. With the rebounds too. He's always up 7, 8 rebounds, close to double figures, and assists as well. He's the all-time assist leader in Kentucky history.
Well, the reason he rebounds is because he sticks his nose in the defensive end. He doesn't leak out trying to start a break. He's one of the rare freshmen that knows that your defense isn't over until you secure the rebound. He goes to the glass.
Long shot comes in well short as Mitchell tries his first tray and then a foul.
Mitchell needed a shot fake there. Darnell Dotson did a very nice job defensively of getting out to challenge that shot. Mitchell thought he was open, but he really wasn't.
So a brief stint for Mitchell, commits the foul. He comes out. Missoula back in. And again, here with the injury to Darryl Bryant, the sophomore point guard, a broken foot earlier this week in practice, it has shortchanged Huggins when it comes to that point position. In fact, he may have to use either Deshaun Butler or Kevin Ebanks to work at that spot.
Well, what it does is it doesn't allow him to rest Joe Missoula as often as he'd like. Missoula's going to have to play extended minutes. And then Missoula plays so hard he picks up fouls. And it could put him in some foul trouble if he's not really smart about the way he defends.
Wall just does beat the 5-second count, kicks it off his own foot. That'll go in the backcourt. That should be a backcourt violation. Why there's no whistle? It went right off Wall into the backcourt. No West Virginia player touched it. And then Wall comes in and, oh, that's punishing. Instead of a turnover, they get 3. And Huggins has got to be furious. That's a 2-point shot.
Curtis Shaw was motioning that there was no possession, therefore it couldn't be backcourt.
Oh, my. Well, maybe, maybe Missoula did get his hands on it.
You can throw it all the way into the backcourt if you choose, but Kentucky had possession in the front court. The ball was knocked and went off of John Wall's foot. This is a backcourt violation that was not called as such. Kentucky wound up with a basket. Curtis Shaw signaled that there was no possession, therefore it wasn't a backcourt violation, but there was possession by Kentucky. Patrick Patterson caught the ball in the front court and possessed the ball in the front court. Therefore, if Kentucky was the last to touch it, it was a backcourt violation. It just was missed by the official.
Kentucky benefits from the call and a 2-point shot from Wall, and now lead by 7 under 8 minutes to go in this opening half.
Yeah, those can be difficult to see, bang bang play.
John Flowers in for the first time, number 41 for West Virginia. This is Flowers. And again, just around the perimeter, just no penetration by West Virginia. Now Butler does take it to the goal, and he has it knocked away. Every time they go in there, bad things happen. And they're in the backcourt. And Missoula gets it for West Virginia. And he's blocked by Wall. Oh, my. What a talent. That's a 4th Kentucky block. And then he sets up Orton underneath, and Orton has it go off his knee out of bounds to West Virginia. He is an all-America, all-around player. He can score, he can pass, and look at him play defense. John Wall, the freshman from Kentucky. Now look at our game summary with West Virginia's 9 points coming on only 3 shots, 3 3-point field goals, while Kentucky showing that tremendous power inside as they have throughout the tournament. 12-0, they're scoring in the paint, and anytime West Virginia, Jay Billis, goes inside, it's like trying to fight your way through barbed wire. They just can't get anything done against the interior defense of Kentucky.
Well, West Virginia shooting 37% from three-point range. They're 3 of 8. Boy, they have not been able to get anything inside of that three-point line because Kentucky has either blocked it or changed it.
Here, Deshaun Butler with the ball. He fires a three and hits. That's his first points of the game. So all 12 of West Virginia points have been unpraised.
Well, you knew that they were going to go to Deshaun Butler out of that timeout because Bob Huggins needs to get his best player started. And ran a little pin down screen for him, and he was ready and loaded up to shoot when he caught it.
Butler averaging 17.5 a game. He was the most valuable player in the Big East tournament as West Virginia took that title. 3 tough games at the Garden.
Back to the 1-3-1. John Flowers, another long arm defender out top.
Miller takes it inside, then to Liggins outside. Wall has it deflected, and quick hands. Wall comes up with it. Well, that's a travel. DeAndre Liggins moved before he got the ball on the floor. Was going to drive, then saw the pass opportunity and committed the turnover, the 7th by Kentucky.
Well, you wonder sometimes when West Virginia goes into these offensive droughts where they can't score, how they remain in the game. I mean, this is a team that has not shot the ball well throughout the course of this season from the perimeter. And right now they can't get anything going offensively. And yet they're just 4 points down in this game. This is a grinding, tough-minded team.
Jones from outside, another 3 ball, and it's 16-15. Boy, that's making a lot of mileage out of 5 made field goals. 5 times 3 pulls the Mountaineers within 1.
I think Kentucky expected this kind of perimeter shooting from Cornell, not from West Virginia.
A 3-point try by Patterson, not there, but it's going to go right back to Kentucky.
Don't know why Patrick Patterson wants to pull the trigger on a 3.
West Virginia fans excited by this mild comeback. 2.5 minutes without a score by Kentucky.
You need to drive the ball into the middle and lob it up to Cousins.
Miller inside. Trickles off the rim, and Cousins can't make it, but Patterson there on the follow.
2 of the best offensive rebounders in the country. Cousins averages 4 offensive rebounds per game. Patterson averages 3. With so little size on the back line of that 1-3-1 with Joe Mazzulla patrolling that back line, all they have to do is get the ball into the paint, either lob it up there or shoot it and let them go after the rebound.
Butler again, and the game is tied as he hits a back-to-back threes. My, oh my, 18 points on 6 shots for West Virginia.
And a little more energy defensively now for West Virginia that they've seen the ball go through the net.
West Virginia 0 for 9 inside the line. And Wall loses it out of bounds. A rare turnover by the brilliant freshman for Kentucky. Well, you never know how the script is going to read. You see hundreds and hundreds of games, and who could have predicted this start for West Virginia? 0 for 9 from 2, 6 for 11 from 3, and they are not known as an outside shooting team. They make some, but it is not their strength.
Well, and Kentucky's got to stop turning the ball over. They've turned it over way too much.
Jones. He missed a makeable shot from 2. And there's a steal. Mazzulla going the other way. Plenty of white shirts are back. Butler will try another 3. Oh, he's got the hot hand. And West Virginia leads for only the 2nd time in the game. 3 squared, 3 cubed. Mathematically, 3 is better than 2, and the Mountaineer fans love it.
Shot inside that line the way they've shot it in the last few minutes from 3.
0 for 10 inside the line, as you can see. They made 4 in a row from long distance, and now a total of 7 threes for their 21 points, and a run of 12-2 against the Wildcats with 4 minutes to go in this opening half.
Sticking with that 1-3-1, Devin Ebanks out top.
Inside, and there's Cousins, and a foul was called on the drive. I'm out. 3:55 left in the half. Be there. Maybe the whole Hoosier cast to talk about this Butler. They are then the Cinderellas of this tournament, all coming up. AT&T Naismith Watch 8 update, along with all the rest of the news on AT&T at the half.
Well, who gets to be Jimmy Chitwood for Butler when they get to Indianapolis?
At the line, Ramon Harris, senior from Anchorage, Alaska, averaging under 2 points a game. Played steadily, a starter last year, but with this influx of all the great freshmen on this Kalahari team, he gets limited duty, as does Perry Stevenson, the other senior. Liggins back in and Harris out, as the 2 free throws cut West Virginia's lead to 1.
Now Kentucky's going to have to press up a little bit more on the perimeter because of West Virginia knocking shots down. That's going to open up some back cuts.
Ebanks goes underneath, can't hit. Knocked out of bounds.
Off Liggins. Right away, West Virginia getting a little back cut and a nice little move off the exchange. Some confusion, weak side help a little bit late, but even though it's a little bit late, still Devin Ebanks forced to change that shot. It's not just the shot blocks, it's the shot changes.
Butler back outside. Jones passed up the 2. Jones did. Now inside. Flowers shorter on that one. Had a jumper, and Cousins says no you don't, and rips down the loose ball.
What a closeout by John Wall on Kevin Jones. Jones had an open free throw line jumper, and Wall closed it off immediately.
Wall up the lane. Cousins with the rebound again. All kinds of bodies hitting the floor, and then a travel, part of it induced by the fact there's just too much body traffic on the floor.
Well, a little bit of a bailout call. I think that the officials were looking at the fact that Cousins threw that right shoulder and moved the defender back and dislodged him, and the walk was just the easier thing to call. It doesn't cost them a foul that way.
West Virginia, they come into the offensive end. They've tried 12 shots outside the line and 12 inside. They're 0 for 12 near the basket, 7 for 12 from long range.
Wall on Butler.
And he nails another one and fouled. Line drive, that one home.
Deshaun Butler is a big game player. And this is as big a game as he has played in his collegiate career. With Wall on him, you'd think he'd want to take him inside, but that is just a catch and shoot. Wall just ticking him on the hand as that shot being released. And Butler is starting to feel it.
A senior from Newark, New Jersey, one of the 10 finalists for the Senior Class Award. He has 13 points. This year, Butler, as fans that have followed West Virginia and Big East know, he has made 6 shots that have won games. So when it comes to clutch time, they want the ball in his hands. And you can see after a slow start tonight, he has taken over. 4 threes made by Butler, plus the free throw.
Kentucky's got to be resolute to get that ball into the paint. They have become a little bit of a jump shooting team.
Wall double team. That leaves Miller open. No travel. Liggins inside. Off the rim, but tipped in.
Anytime Kentucky drives, they are changing the responsibilities in that 1-3-1. And if you have to rotate over, it's going to open up the offensive glass, even if you miss the opportunity. If they just shoot jump shots, it's going to play right into the hands of West Virginia.
With Liggins tipping that one in, that's 16 points to 0 in favor of Kentucky. Their inside game against the outside shooting of West Virginia. 2 minutes to go in the half. Missoula tries another. Goes right to Butler. Takes it in strong, but can't hit. And Patterson, good play along the sideline. Will make it Cousins to slip the ball off a West Virginia player. Out of bounds to Kentucky.
Well, Kentucky has not been shooting the ball well from three-point range. 0 of 7 thus far in the game. They've not been made to put the ball on the deck. They've been shooting it from the catch spot. That is a no-no for Bob Huggins' defense. But if they continue to shoot those threes, that's going to be advantage West Virginia. This is where Kentucky is most dangerous.
Dodson from 3, and he can't hit. Another three-point attempt comes out to Butler.
That was a good three-point shot. That was a walk that he got away with.
And deflected out of bounds by Dodson to West Virginia.
And Jamie Luckey, one of the officials.
And there's a technical foul that's been called. DeAndre Liggins, I believe, was the culprit there. It caught the eye of the official.
Not a smart play by DeAndre Liggins. Everybody thought it was a walk, but Jamie Luckey, the official, was signaling that he was bobbling the ball, didn't have possession, therefore you can't walk with it. But whether he walked or not, it doesn't matter. You can't say anything to the officials in a game like this. That was just after that little walk. It was knocked out of bounds by Liggins. And Liggins just reacted badly to it. He actually reacted off the call if it's going out of bounds. And he's just got to know Curtis Shaw is a very good official, but he's got a really quick trigger on technical fouls. And you can't give the officials a reason to call it on you.
So Deshaun Butler will go to the line to shoot the 2 technical fouls. He's a 78% shooter. Liggins feeling that he didn't really do that much wrong, but he may have said the bad word.
There's really no reason for any player to say anything to an official.
You never talk to an official when you play?
It doesn't do you any good. You can talk to him all you want to. It doesn't do you any good.
Or it can do you bad.
It can do you harm, and that's the thing. That's poise. That's a big factor of poise in a ball game like this. You can't have those kind of reactions.
15 points now for Deshaun Butler after a quiet 0 for 5 start from the floor. 5-point West Virginia lead, 137 mark before the intermission.
Kentucky has not played in this tournament down. They have been way ahead in every game that they have played, and they've not played a lot of time with game pressure on them. Right now, they've got game pressure.
So the 2 technicals made by Butler, plus the ball into the lane to Ebanks. He can't dribble it in.
Good rebound by Dotson.
Here comes Walt streaking into the offensive end. Blocked! Up high was Flowers to reject, and that'll be a foul on Flowers. A little too enthusiastic on the defense.
Now Flowers reacted badly to that one. He just about got a technical, but a really good block. These are the long arm defenders of West Virginia. John Flowers has over 125 block shots in his career. Second on the team in blocks this season.
Darius Miller at the line. He's made his last 12 in a row, counting that one. That's his first point tonight.
Darius Miller did a great job in the game against Wake Forest. Had 20 points and 9 rebounds in that second round matchup. But his defense on Cornell's Ryan Whitman, it made him the MVP of the Sweet 16 game.
Kentucky cuts the Mountaineer advantage to 3. 69 seconds left in this first half.
West Virginia's offense has got to be the primary factor in playing good defense. West Virginia has to run good offense so that the Mountaineers don't give Kentucky those easy runouts the other way.
Flowers to Missoula. Missoula up the alley, then back outside to Jones. Rebound Patterson. Wall again to Cousins. Oh my, do they get down the court with that ball in Wall's hand. He's the sprinter. He's out of the blocks like a 60-meter runner.
Even a good shot that is missed leads to a run out. And this team runs off of misses about as well as any team in the country.
5-second differential in the clocks. Missoula in with the big boys, can't hit, and there'll be a foul over the back. It appeared to be Dotson over the back.
A terrific outlet pass, and John Wall making himself available. And DeMarcus Cousins, as soon as he saw the ball was heading the other way, he immediately took off. Had his hands ready. And John Wall, you know as a big guy that if you run the floor, John Wall's going to find you. And he has shown the ability to dish that basketball, and he seems to get a real kick out of getting assists to his teammates.
That foul not on Dotson, but on DeMarcus Cousins, and Cousins sits down with 2 fouls. Kevin Jones with his 7th point of the game. Jones, sophomore from Mount Vernon, New York High School. What a high school. Rodney and Scooter McRae, they played for Huggins at Cincinnati. Gus Williams, Ben Gordon, now Kevin Jones. What a tradition there.
Kevin Jones, one of the underrated stars in the Big East.
And an extra chance as Cam Thurman just into the game. 6'7" junior from Portsmouth, Ohio, gets the offensive board. So West Virginia can take the final shot. Clock ticking down, 11-10. Butler, hands on the ball. They want him to take care of it. He goes up and he is rejected. Here comes Wall, 2-1. Wall all the way and can't score at the buzzer. What a first half. Outside shooting West Virginia. Power inside Kentucky. 2-point lead for the Mountaineers. We'll send you to Greg, AT&T at the half after this message and a word from your local station. My first partner was Hot Rod Hundley. I worked solo for the first 10 years of my broadcast life, and then they sent me Hundley. Boy, I learned fast about having partnerships. And Hot Rod number 33 has been retired this year by West Virginia. First team without a made 2-point field goal in any half since Marquette in 2007. Was that in the tournament, though?
I don't know. It's an amazing statistic. 1-3-1. This trap has been very effective for West Virginia.
And a whistle as Bledsoe goes up for that short 10-footer. Wellington Smith now with 3 fouls. He's the first player on either side with 3. Here's Eric Bledsoe, another of the sensational, fabulous freshmen of the Kentucky Wildcats.
Bledsoe's a critical player for this Kentucky team. Offensively, he can be very effective, not only in transition, but he can knock down open 3-point shots. It's just, since the opening round game, has not shot the ball quite as well or quite as often. But defensively, he's been terrific in this tournament.
He made all 6 of his free throws against Cornell, but misses 2. And Kentucky coming into this game in the tournament shooting under 60% from the line. A worrisome statistic for even the most enthusiastic Kentucky fan.
Marcus Cousins knocking that ball away, and Bledsoe is on Deshaun Butler.
He thanks Missoula. This is Smith.
Butler needs to post Bledsoe. Keep him down there in the low post and lock him down.
Jones in the corner. He'll try the 3, and Mountaineers start where they finished the first half with another 3. 10 points for Jones.
Bob Huggins might take a player out if he takes a 2 in this game.
9 for 16 from outside the line for the Mountaineers. I guess when you're up in those West Virginia mountains, you better shoot from long range.
It has been almost heaven from behind that line, but how do you game plan for that?
Cousins sets up Bledsoe. He can hit the 3, but short on that one. Saved by Darius Miller. 0 for 9 from outside the line for Kentucky, and Cousins misses the shot, and then as it's rebounded by Deshaun Butler, Cousins went by and threw a hand at him and picks up the foul apparently. It's 3rd. He didn't mean to do anything, but he may have hit him in a sensitive spot. Not may have. He was just kind of swiping, hoping he'd hit the ball. That was no intent on the foul.
Yeah, clearly not intentional.
So he goes out with 3, and the pain is hurt mostly by the Kentucky team and fans because he's a major force and has to rest now with 3.
And the officials are going to go over to look at the monitor. But my sense is from seeing it that it will just be a common foul, and West Virginia will inbound it.
Played by the big screen here at the Carrier Dome at Syracuse, and fans reacting.
Well, that's one of those things where you tell a big guy, you know, when somebody's got the ball wrapped up like that, the chances of you being able to knock it away are 1 in 100, and you're just asking for a foul.
And the senior Butler skipping back to duty may have helped out the call with his reaction.
My guess is the reaction was involuntary.
Not something you don't look for that drawing that foul, do you? 0 for 16. West Virginia, can they make a shot inside the line?
Bledsoe remaining on Butler. Butler is bigger and he's stronger. Needs to take him down into the post.
Missoula. He goes inside. No one picks him up defensively. He must have wondered where are the white shirts.
Everybody from Kentucky a little more in tune with trying to deal with shooters, and another turnover. Kentucky has been so loose with the ball. The extra possessions. Little shot fake by Missoula driving. Everybody worried about their man instead of worrying about coming over for help side. That's a function of West Virginia finally knocking down some perimeter shots. You're afraid to leave your man.
Well, Cousins, who normally would be camped down there on the bench, so no chance for him to defend. 7-point lead's the biggest in the game for West Virginia. Kentucky led by 7 a couple of times first half. Flowers, he hits a three. Wow! This is Disneyland for West Virginia. 10 trays out of 17 attempts. And they lead number 1 Kentucky by 10. Calhoun and Boeheim, and 7-1 against Sean Calipari. In fact, when Huggins suffered that severe heart attack 8 years ago, he was in the ambulance, and one of the medical people said, "We're not going to let you die. We got to keep you alive until Calipari beats you." Inside is Cousins. He returns and immediately jams home another 2.
Well, that was made possible by the penetration, and whether it's 1-3-1 or man, Kentucky has to keep getting the ball into the lane. Kentucky is not going to beat West Virginia by shooting jump shots.
And a whistle away from the ball.
Now the scouting report on John Flowers, he had hit 6 of 20 3-pointers coming into this game. The scouting report was you don't have to guard him at the 3-point line. Daniel Orton did not, and John Flowers made him pay for it. That's now 7 of 21 on the season.
Bledsoe picks up that last foul. He joins Cousins with 3 for Kentucky.
Now the scouting report for Cornell for Kentucky was guard the lines, guard the 3-point line, keep him off the free throw line. Now guarding the line was not an issue coming into this game, but now they're going to have to change on the fly and guard the line.
Missoula mishandles the ball on the baseline. Little guy in there with all those big shot blockers, and he dribbled it off his foot. Only the 4th turnover by the Mountaineers.
Well, there's no question that Missoula heard some footsteps and was looking to make a play other than shooting it.
Darius Miller pulls up with a jumper. Batted out to Kentucky. Kentucky with an enormous advantage in rebounds in this game as Wall takes it inside and draws the foul.
Missoula was trying to take a charge. It was probably fortunate that the foul was committed before they got there, because he would have been called for a block as well.
Flowers picks up the foul. Rebounds in the game, 31-15 in favor of Kentucky. Wall misses the free throw. Tomorrow in 60 minutes, the NBA is going to have 2 new owners next season. One's Michael Jordan. The other's a billionaire Russian playboy. Meet the richer one tomorrow on 60 Minutes. Wall 1 out of 2. And the West Virginia lead is cut to 7.
Now, Kentucky has been in some tight spots throughout this season. They haven't been in any tight spots in this NCAA tournament, but they have never panicked. Even this young team, they have kept their poise and found ways to win.
Only defeats on the road at South Carolina and at Tennessee. How about Tennessee? They beat both Kansas and Kentucky during the regular season, and that should have been an indicator of their success in the tournament as they go for a chance at the Final Four tomorrow.
Well, amazing what they've done, especially without Tyler Smith, who was dismissed from the team at the start of January. Got to give it to Deshaun Butler.
4 minutes into the second half. The shot is off the mark by Jones. Battling, and Kentucky up with a loose ball. Bledsoe streaking into the offensive end. Throws it to Cousins. Boy, they just know where that big fella is. Cousins camps out. You penetrate, get it to number 15, and he has 10 points to lead the Wildcats.
What a great cut by Devin Ebanks. Was curling off that free throw line screen.
Fans for both teams on their feet in this exchange. 38-31. Cousins is blocked. That was Kevin Jones giving Cousins a taste of his own medicine. Butler, and he can't come through with that three.
Well, you don't want to get too three happy, even though West Virginia has been making more than their share.
Patterson, the big man outside, misses the three. If you were coaching, that's not the shot you want him to take.
It's not at all. And Patrick Patterson could make it, but why?
Missoula saw the opening, and like a halfback darting through a hole into the end zone, he goes in for the score.
But Dick, it is amazing after you take a bad shot, and I consider the shot that Patrick Patterson to have taken was a bad one for the circumstance.
How often takes it inside. Draws the foul.
It's amazing how often you give up a layup on the other end. Just not prepared for it. And West Virginia, Joe Mazzulla sees the opening. Nobody comes over to help. Usually Kentucky would try to block that. What's their body language going to be? Are they going to come together or are they going to fall apart? Now, they haven't fallen apart all season long.
Wall misses another free throw as his fellow freshman DeMarcus Cousins watches from the sidelines.
This is the first time that Kentucky has really been tested in this tournament.
3 for 6 for Wall from the charity. And he now has 10 points to go with 8 rebounds. A worrisome expression on the brow of John Calipari. His team trails by 8. They once led by 7.
Right now there is not a primary handler on the floor. Kentucky needs to go out and pressure.
Thorough man back in for West Virginia gives him West Virginia another body inside. Lots of movement away from the ball. Down to 10 on the clock. Butler forcing that shot. Cleared by Patterson to Bledsoe. He beats all the Mountaineers down court for the easy 2.
Incredible speed, and Bob Huggins trying to get Joe Mazzulla back into the ball game. Without Mazzulla on the floor, this is not a good handling team, and there was nobody getting back. There was no defensive balance, and a great outlet pass by Patrick Patterson.
Jones can't hit the 2-pointer, but the follow-in, no basket. No basket, the foul before the shot.
Again, 2 rebounders on the weak side for West Virginia, but a great outlet pass, and John Wall is fast. I'm not sure Eric Bledsoe isn't just as fast, and what a terrific perimeter defender, but 4 fouls with 13:40 to go in regulation. That's a big blow to Kentucky's defense.
Yeah, the freshman from Birmingham, Bledsoe, takes a seat with 4. Mazzulla back in. Tough guy, draws the foul from Wall.
What a smart play by Joe Mazzulla. You've got to remain on the floor and make Mazzulla shoot over you. He is not a scorer. And John Wall just leaving the floor after a little shot fake. Got beat to the middle. Patterson fakes, bluffs, and retreats. And that's just a rookie mistake by John Wall.
Mazzulla misses the free throw. He has 7 points in the game. His high this year is 8. This junior from Johnston, Rhode Island, he's already completed his studies. He's studying for a master's. And with a medical red shirt, he can play again next year. 8 points for him to match his season high. Tough kid, and what a sense of humor. He could have his own comedy show.
You'd have to fight Joe Mazzulla for it. Mazzulla could have one too.
That's what I mean, Mazzulla.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Wall. Wall could have one too. I was looking at Wall.
Yeah, they could pair each other. There's Patterson off the missed shot, and once again, it's Kentucky scoring inside in the paint, and until the second half, West Virginia needing to score from outside. The Kentucky fans see that score down to 5. Nice inside, beautifully, Ebanks.
Kentucky has to do a better job of guarding that little curl at the free throw line. Ebanks has gotten 2 layups off of that.
Miller back outside to Liggins. Mazzulla in the right place to embrace the rebound. 0 for 12, Kentucky outside the line. Mazzulla inside, can't score, and draws the foul.
Now watch Devin Ebanks here. He's coming from the right side of the floor. He curls right off of Mazzulla. Nobody steps in to bump that cutter, and Liggins gets bumped off. That's got to be John Wall staying on the opposite side of Mazzulla to bump that cut and take away the ball side of the cut by Devin Ebanks, just giving up layups.
Darius Miller picked up the foul, his first.
The three-point shooting for West Virginia, certainly what you would consider pretty unusual. The number of threes and the fact they hit them all in the first half. That's really spread out this Kentucky defense. It was packed in the first half, not packed in anymore. They're having to extend.
Mazzulla hits both. Calipari sends his big man Cousins back into the game. So it's Miller, Dotson, Cousins, Wall, and Patterson. Wall for 3. They still can't connect from outside the line. That's 0 for 13 for Kentucky on the 3-ball. And Missoula! That's like returning a kickoff for a touchdown.
They're not forcing him to his right at all. He is a left-handed player. The scouting report says force him right, but he goes left anyway. Joe Missoula getting to the rim. Left-hander that primarily drives to the left. Kentucky has not been able to keep him from going to his left. Let's see if these young Kentucky Wildcats can adjust defensively and start forcing Missoula to his right.
There's a foul away from the ball as Hall trying to get it into Cousins. During that timeout, Rod Strickland, assistant coach with Kentucky, and Calipari trying to get these Wildcats going. Missoula picks up the foul, his second on that last play. 4 team fouls on West Virginia, 5 on Kentucky here in the second half.
Sticking with the 1-3-1, and now they're starting to go inside. That's where they need to go to DeMarcus Cousins.
Kevin Jones gets the foul. And we have a break. These two coaches battling through a long season. John Calipari's team, the heavy favorite with the way they've dominated in the first 3 games of the tournament, but they trail by 11. And another short 3-pointer. Inside goes Darius Miller, and traveling is the call. How do you figure this, that Kentucky, this great shooting team, 0 for 14 on the long ball, and they've been outscored by 30 points in 3-pointers by West Virginia.
Well, that's 2 of 30 from 3-point range in the last 2 games. I mean, Kentucky has not been a great 3-point shooting team all season long. They have gone through these kind of droughts. The real surprise to me is that West Virginia has been banging down threes at such a high rate, but so much game pressure right now on this Kentucky team. Down 11, over 11 minutes to go. They've got to respond, and that's going to take a mature team to do it.
And the very fact that what you're saying is evidenced by the John Calipari putting Eric Bledsoe back into the game with 4 fouls.
Cousins also has 3. Again, that curl screen open.
Missoula inside. That leaves room outside for Flowers, but he's way too long.
That was a challenge shot. He should have put it on the deck.
All the way goes John Wall and draws the foul. And Wall, he can get from one end to the other as quickly without it looking as if he's that fast.
And the bad shot by John Flowers was the first pass in Kentucky's fast break. That put Joe Missoula in a bad spot. He slid right underneath. And John Wall, with that great body balance and body control, not only draws the foul, but steps to the line for the conventional 3-point opportunity.
4 for 7 from the line tonight. And this is another, but a second chance by Patterson, so this could become a 5-point possession. Another missed 3, and a third chance to score for Kentucky.
Wall intelligently drives the ball. That's a better shot.
There's a 3. It's short. Another chance. 4 opportunities for Kentucky. 3 misses, and they have it for the 4th time off the offensive rebounding. Inside, Cousins bats it outside to Liggins. Can he save? No. Oh, that was too many chances. Missoula misses, but it's tipped home by Ebanks.
And you wonder when Kentucky is going to stop the ball. That is very unlike this Kentucky defense to allow an opposing point guard to get all the way to the rim, not showing any respect to Missoula.
Bledsoe takes it inside and scores. 49-40 the score, West Virginia. 6 for Bledsoe.
Kentucky has to keep driving the ball.
Kicking down toward the midpoint of this second 20-minute period in Syracuse. The winner advances to the Final Four. West Virginia leading Kentucky 49-40 at the 10-minute mark. Deshaun Butler is short. Both teams have scored off outside. Flowers, he doesn't. Oh, they had 3 black jerseys down there, and he just ran right by him.
Well, Bob Huggins looks like he wants a timeout, or at least, yeah, he's asking for a timeout. And I think jump shots are going to be the discussion, why they want to be a jump shooting team all of a sudden.
Why, he's saying. Look at him split the defense, maneuver his body, and score. John Wall to Kentucky. Well, John Wall trying to fire this Kentucky team back from an 11-point deficit. It's cut to 7 at 49-42, but Kentucky, their failure outside the line has been significant tonight. 0 for 16.
West Virginia has to run some better offense. They've been settling too much for jump shots.
Wellington Smith so close to traveling. And there's the turnover. Out of bounds as Butler throws it away.
Well, Kentucky is not going to get back into this game by shooting the three. 0 of 16 thus far in the game. Some of the shots have been good ones that they've just missed. Others, they pulled the trigger when they didn't need to. But Kentucky needs to continue to defend at a high level, which they have done over the last 2.5 minutes. And they've got to keep getting the ball into the paint.
Dodson for three. Another miss. And Flowers has it knocked away by Wall. And out of bounds off Dodson.
Well, Wall was right there when the rebound was brought down. He was right there waiting to knock it away. Just terrific presence of mind and alertness by John Wall.
34% field goal shooters from three-point range on the season, Kentucky, but shut out tonight. Patrick Patterson picks up that Kentucky foul, and that puts West Virginia in the bonus.
Not a very smart foul to allow West Virginia to walk 94 feet. Joe Mazzulla, even though he's missed a couple free throws in this game, had been hitting his free throws in the tournament.
12 points for Mazzulla, his high for this season, and with that successful free throw, he's only 2 points from his career high.
Really amazing what this young man has done. Missing all of last year with that shoulder problem, playing so many games shooting with his right hand and really being unable to shoot. And at the end of the year, he has really stepped forward and played a much bigger role, especially with Truck Bryant, unable to play with that broken foot.
Mazzulla with a shoulder bones that are rubbing against each other, a congenital problem. Oh, that's got to either be walking. Yes, it is walking. It could have been a charge on Cousins, but the walk is the call. 14th turnover, Kentucky.
It probably was a charge, but walk was the sort of the bailout call by the officials. They've made a couple of those tonight.
Mazzulla, remember, those of you just joining us, Mazzulla playing because the starting point guard for West Virginia, Darryl Truck Bryant, fractured a foot in practice earlier this week. He had been averaging 25 minutes a game and almost 10 points a game. Mazzulla taking over. Smith in and out. Dodson clears to a Wall. Here he comes again. And sets up his teammate. And a foul. As DeMarcus Cousins really misses that one. But Wall can find him. Even when it seems that this big guy Cousins is hiding somewhere, Wall finds him.
Well, transition defense, the first rule is stop the ball. Now, with most point guards, it's not that hard to do. But with John Wall, I mean, how do you catch that guy? How do you stop him? And how do you stay in front of him?
Cousins looking for his 11th point.
John Wall, when you think you've got him corralled, he just gets right in between people. He's got incredible speed, but he can change direction. He's got a great feel for the game.
Cousins misses the second. And we talk about playing under control, and with an incredible speed of Wall, he's able to do that as well. He's an acrobat.
Cousins has really struggled shooting free throws in this tournament. Coming into the game, he was 20 of 45.
Ticking down to the 8-minute mark here in Syracuse with West Virginia leading by 8. And the ball inside, and the score, Mazzulla again. A career-tying high, 15 for him.
And what a great pocket pass out of the post, and Mazzulla coming off again. That little post at the free throw line, the curl screen.
Make that 16. It is a career high, Mazzulla. Wall has it blocked, but he's going to get it back. Look at him. Recover, get back, and defend.
And not a smart pass by Deshaun Butler.
Knocked away again. This is Ebanks, and he blows it. Goodness, a couple of golden chances for West Virginia, and they can't take advantage on what should have been easy goals. Mazzulla, we asked him yesterday in watching Kentucky on television, do they remind you of anyone? He said, yeah, the Golden State Warriors. Clever guy, 10-point lead. Clock now working against Kentucky. They need some stops.
Sticking with the 1-3-1, got it along the baseline.
Bledsoe for three. Still not there. And a push on the back of Cousins as he went up to try to tap it in.
Looked like they got Missoula, who was trying to box him out, just went low, and Cousins just went over the top of him because Missoula was low bridging him.
That's his fourth foul, so he'll take a seat next to Coach Bob Huggins.
That's a big play for West Virginia. Now they don't have a primary ball handler on the floor. They're going to have to go to that 5-out motion. I think they're more likely to turn the ball over.
Rattles and falls for DeMarcus Cousins. His 12th point as Cam Thurman comes in. That means that one of the big men, Butler or Ebanks, are going to have to handle the ball in the backcourt.
Well, they'll all have to help out. But if I were John Calipari, I would bring full court pressure right now. And I would get all over them and make them handle it.
That's what they're going to do. Flowers helping out in the backcourt.
I'd keep it on. I wouldn't let him just waltz it up the floor.
Good news for Kentucky was that Cousins, having trouble at the charity, made both those free throws. 7 minutes to go. Thurman left alone, and he scores.
Well, John Wall got caught watching his man on the weak side. He should have been right there under the basket. And that little curl at the free throw line is absolutely killing Kentucky. They have not adjusted to it.
Still a 10-point West Virginia lead. Miller into the lane, draws the foul, and he'll go to the line for two.
Cam Thurman coming from the right side of the floor, ball on the left. He curls around a free throw line screen, his defender trailing him, and John Wall just caught on the opposite side. He should have been right on the midline, right underneath the basket, protecting the 10, and instead he was caught watching his man.
Third foul on John Flowers sends Darius Miller to the line. And a reliable free throw shooter, especially here in the tournament, 83% on the season. And he's 2 for 3 tonight.
The first half for West Virginia, it was the three-point line. In the second half, they've been getting layups, and Kentucky has not adjusted well to it.
Free throws tonight, 11 for 20 for the Wildcats. As you can see, 9 for 11 success for West Virginia. 6.5 minutes to go.
No pressure on the ball at all. Don't have a ball handler in, and they're in a zone.
Here comes the double team. And a timeout called by West Virginia as Kevin Jones couldn't extricate himself from that Kentucky double team. Michigan State at 2:20 Eastern, and then Baylor squares off against Duke at 5:05 Eastern time as they'll fill out the final two spots in the Final Four. Duke and Baylor winner will play the winner of this one. Inbounds pass, and there was wide open, unable to score, but to get the ball back in a new clock, West Virginia.
Kentucky now in man-to-man. They are just letting Cam Thurman hold it out there. There's very little pressure out on the perimeter.
6 to go. Flowers, Thurman. That's a tough turnaround, and it falls. Boy, that's a big leg shot by Kevin Jones. Did he ever get a kind roll?
He's a very versatile and complete player. I think he's an underappreciated star in the Big East.
Johnson turns down the three. Wall will take it inside, looking for his man Cousins, knocked away out of bounds by the West Virginia defense.
Well, Cousins was fouled there, but the nice post feed by Cam Thurman and just a little fake into the middle and a turnaround jumper and got the soft roll.
5:32 remaining. Underdog West Virginia leading by a dozen against Kentucky. Not a big underdog. This is the number 2 seed against the number 1. The only time that happened throughout the tourney, and that's going to be a block call on West Virginia's Thurman.
Well, Thurman just couldn't move his feet quite fast enough to establish that initial position. He was just sliding just a bit. That was close, but the right call.
10th team foul, so Kentucky with a double bonus the rest of the way. To the line, Eric Bledsoe. This young guy at 6'1", but he has a wingspan of 6'7", a 40-inch vertical. He just plays like a 6'4", 6'5" man.
He was brilliant in New Orleans in the first couple of rounds.
He's 0 for 3 from the line tonight. And Kentucky hurting themselves. They're wounding at the free throw line. 11 for 21. Cousins takes a seat.
And looks of exasperation on the younger players' faces for Kentucky.
Bledsoe uncharacteristically 0 for 4. He's a 70% shooter on the season.
Kentucky's going to have to get it done on defense.
Mountaineers can afford to be patient with each possession now. Chew up the clock. 12-point lead. Ebanks inside. Scores! Mountaineer fans feeling it now. They're on their feet here in Syracuse. A block. Flowers makes the defensive play.
And Kentucky still not pressuring a limited handler. Devin Ebanks bringing the ball up the floor. Missoula's on the bench. And Kentucky just hanging back.
It's a defensive brain cramp. Just letting West Virginia use the clock down to 4.5 minutes.
This pass and cut offense, they're making them. This has not been a very smart second half by Kentucky.
Foul was on Liggins of Kentucky.
Devin Ebanks with the catch and driving the closeout. Liggins couldn't get the angle, and that's the mid-range ability of Devin Ebanks. He started out the season, I think, trying to prove he was a perimeter player. But on the season, he's gone 3 of 30 from three-point range, and his coach Bob Huggins told him, Devin, you need to do the things you're good at. You're a good mid-range player, you're a great defender, and you're a great rebounder. Play that way, and he has.
West Virginia hitting their free throws while Kentucky has missed theirs. And quite a turnabout by this West Virginia team as Orton goes out and Cousins returns. Huggins' team went 0 for 15 inside the line in the first half. Made only points on three-pointers. In the second half, they're 10 for 14 on two-pointer attempts.
They've been able to spread the floor because of those three-point shots being knocked down, and that has opened up some opportunities near the rim. But West Virginia needs to stay aggressive. They can't just sit on the lead.
And Kentucky needs some points. They need them in a hurry. And Wall misses a three. Cousins with a second chance and scores. +1.
West Virginia is trying to block out DeMarcus Cousins. They just can't. It's like trying to move a parked car out of a space. I mean, Butler was trying to box him out, but Cousins is 6'11". He is 280 pounds if he is a pound. And he has got great feet and great hands, and he's an elite offensive rebounder.
He leads Kentucky with his 15 points, and he misses the free throw. So Kentucky now 11 for 23 from the line, and a foul. Well, it's getting to be desperate now for Calipari's Wildcats. These youngsters rarely this season played young, played like freshmen, but under pressure tonight in the second half, they have not been the Kentucky team that just rolled through the first 3 tournament opponents.
Well, Dick, it feels like a desperation situation right now for Kentucky, but it's not yet. There's still 4:12 left in this regulation. Kentucky has got plenty of opportunities to get back into this thing.
Here comes Wall on the fly, and he scores again. And a quick timeout called by Kentucky. 16 now for Wall to lead the Wildcats. 4:06 left. 12-point lead. And that means a 6'7" Butler and a 6'9" Ebanks are going to be handling the ball in the backcourt. Well, we have a correction there. Kentucky has only one timeout now. Deshaun Butler to Ebanks. Under 4 minutes to go here in Syracuse.
This offense can be difficult for the big guys of Kentucky to have to guard because it pulls them further away from the basket. So Cam Thurman right now is a pressure release.
Veteran Butler with the ball. He gets the foul on Darius Miller. Stops the clock at 3:42 to go. West Virginia in front by 12.
Virginia has a 12-point lead in this game, but this game is far from over with 3:42 left in regulation. Bob Huggins' Mountaineers have given away leads late in games. It happened at Seton Hall. It happened at Pittsburgh, where they were leading late in the game and wound up in triple overtime, losing the ball game. So Kentucky needs to stay focused in this game. It is far from over.
Butler looking for his 16th point. And tonight on CBS, it's a night of drama and mystery, just as what we witnessed on the basketball court. Only after the game, it's NCIS Los Angeles, then 48 Hours Mystery. Stay tuned to CBS. And Butler makes both free throws, and boy, the contrast not only in three-point shooting, but success or failure at the free throw line, critical in this game tonight.
West Virginia is doing a really good job using its length in this 1-3-1. They have played this defense the vast majority of the game, and Kentucky has had a very difficult time figuring it out. Their most success has come driving the middle and then throwing the ball up to a guy like DeMarcus Cousins.
Liggins tries a three, and finally, the first tray of the night after 20 misses in a row. They need many more. 63, 52, West Virginia. And Thurman helping out in the backcourt. They're unable to force the turnover against the big men. They've done a good job, but they've worked with the ball in the backcourt throughout the year.
The pressure releases have got to come from Thurman and from Kevin Jones.
Oh, there's the call that was not made in the first half, but is made here in the second half. They call it a backcourt violation. The ball going off the leg of Flowers.
It didn't go off his leg. Ted Valentine said it did, but it didn't.
So we've had two calls very similar, both going against West Virginia. Outside Dotson, hoping that the three-pointer had become contagious. It is not the case.
He was shooting at a moving target there because he was moving.
Triple team in the backcourt, and he still gets through. Wow. And then turns it over, and then a foul.
He just mishandled it. Devin Ebanks has had the opportunity for 2 layups or dunks. One, he lost it out of bounds at the 7:30 mark when they were up by 10. They could have gone up by 12, and there, when he had a man wide open under the basket, just bobbled it, wound up turning it over. And Bob Huggins was telling, just grab the ball and keep possession of it. And Dick, this is what I was talking about. I mean, I still think this game is very much in doubt with the fact that West Virginia does not have a primary handler on the floor.
When Mazzulla is going to check in, he's at the scorer's table, and incredibly, another miss by Bledsoe. He has been shut out at the line tonight. Here comes Mazzulla back. Bledsoe is 0 for 5, and Kentucky 11 for 24 free throws, 13 for 16 West Virginia, and finally for Bledsoe it falls, and the lead is 10 for the Mountaineers. 2:38 to go. Gets it ahead to Mazzulla, and a foul in the backcourt. I believe that was Dotson who reached in.
Mazzulla only shoots about 54% on the season, but in postseason, whether it was the Big East tournament or in the NCAA tournament, he's missed a few, but he has overall shot it very well from the free throw line.
Liggins with the call, his third foul. Way short on the free throw. He's 5 for 7 tonight, a career high 16 points. Only the 4th miss at the line by the Mountaineers. Patterson back in. Point lead, West Virginia, 2.5 to go.
West Virginia has to continue to play good defense without fouling.
Liggins for 3. Just won't fall. Here's the scramble, and Liggins just throws it wildly.
And that's it for Mazzulla. He fouled out.
That's an interesting call. He was going for the ball, and Mazzulla caught in a spot where he couldn't stop himself. His hustle cost him the foul. Couldn't stop.
Well, he tried to pull up, and a good job by DeAndre Liggins to sell that call. Just not a smart play by Mazzulla. He has had a terrific game, but that's one where he's got to use some better judgment, and now West Virginia is going to have to go the rest of the way without a primary handler on the floor.
Looked like Mazzulla, the only contact was with his jaw. Let's see it again.
It doesn't say in the rule book you can't foul with your jaw, but he definitely hit him. I think the key was for Liggins to sell the call as he did, because the referee couldn't see what part of him hit DeAndre Liggins. I mean, it was a good call. There's no question in my mind that was a good call.
There was contact. Mazzulla out. Played the game of his life for West Virginia tonight. And the free throw by Liggins is there. 2:21 to go. This free throw successful. Kentucky will be down by 9. Liggins with 7 points on the game.
Going to come down to toughness right now. Tough enough to make a catch, to be strong with the ball, and to step to the line, hit free throws.
Needs some help. And there's the deflection and the steal. Well, out of bounds to West Virginia. And Patterson very close to coming up with a turnover for Kentucky.
West Virginia cannot leave the floor in order to make a pass, and there's a little bit of sense of urgency right now, and everybody's got to keep their poise because Kentucky is bringing the heat, and they should, because West Virginia is looking awfully shaky with the basketball.
Well, you're a cool guy. There's a little sense of urgency, but for everyone else here, there's a lot of sense of urgency for both teams, and nervousness as they battle. And Butler able to get it away, and then the foul is on Dotson as he slaps it away from Flowers.
Boy, fortunate now for Kentucky. They were able to get the ball out of the hands of Deshaun Butler, a 78% free throw shooter, and into the hands of John Flowers, who shoots under 50% from the line. So that was a smart foul on the part of Kentucky.
Flowers this year 21 of 43 for 48%. His first trip tonight, he barely gets it to the iron.
And you're sensing a real momentum shift here. Momentum now in the favor of Kentucky.
1:59 to go. And Flowers does hit the second. West Virginia with a 10-point advantage.
Kentucky needs to continue to get the ball to the rim.
Dotson for three. Big, big, big. Dotson, 65-58. His first points of the game.
Made possible by the penetration by Wall.
Trouble getting the ball in, and then the foul by Wall will send Wellington Smith to the other end and the free throw line. Third foul on Wall.
And a 58% free throw shooter now goes to the line, and John Calipari is happy to trade 1 for 3 on that last possession. John Flowers knocking in 1 out of 2, and then Dotson hitting the 3 from the corner.
West Virginia led by 16 at 61-45 just a few minutes ago.
That's the kind of poise that you need in a big game, to step to the line, even though Wellington Smith has not proven to be a great free throw shooter. These are some big ones.
And the senior hits them both. He has 5 in the game. 9-point lead.
Wall's had success penetrating and kicking.
Turns down the 3, gets it to Dotson. Can't hit 2 in a row. Batted back out by Kentucky. Another chance for the Wildcats. It'll be Bledsoe. Long range 3. One-handed rebound and the foul against Kentucky. They're 2 for 25 on the long ball tonight. And they've had trouble close in at the free throw line as well, as they just have not shot the way Kentucky has throughout the year. 4 fouls now on Liggins.
I don't know why Bledsoe didn't drive that ball. To get it into the teeth of the defense and try to get it to the rim, you need to get scores, and then you can send West Virginia to the foul line, because West Virginia doesn't want to foul.
3 in a row for Smith, and it's back to a 10-point advantage for the Mountaineers with 1:21 to go. Meanwhile, Kentucky, 3 men with 4 fouls: Miller, Bledsoe, and Liggins. This is that one.
Those were 3 out of 4 big free throws by Wellington Smith.
Way outside and banks it in, John Wall. A big 3 from Wall as he kisses it off the glass. 1:14 to go. A 7-point game.
All 5 guys on the floor. The inbounder and the other 4 have to be alert, and the other 4 have to present themselves as receivers. And if they get into a problem, they can let it get tied up, and they've got the air. Now Casey Mitchell into the ball game. He's one of the best shooters on this team and one of the better free throw shooters. Not a great handler, but he can really shoot it.
And he's positioned at midcourt. Let's see, who will they try to foul? No one as yet has been fouled. Now the whistle as Dotson able to get to Wellington Smith.
Didn't want to foul right there. It's his 4th foul on John Wall, but West Virginia was getting close to a 10-second violation. And make them call a timeout instead of fouling there, letting them walk all the way to the free throw line with 1:06.
Hudson thought he had the foul, but it goes against Wall, his 4th. Wellington, 3rd consecutive trip to the line. He's 3 for 4. And he's missed his last 2.
One thing that West Virginia does not want to do here is foul.
66 seconds to go. The big prize on the line, the trip to Indianapolis in the Final Four to play either Duke or Baylor. He gets the second.
Don't necessarily have to have a three. If it's there, you can pull the trigger, but otherwise drive it.
Final minute. Wall spins. Tip. Recovered by West Virginia. Flowers, poorest free throw shooter, will go to the line for the Mountaineers with 51.3 seconds to go. John Wall is fouled out for Kentucky. He'll get votes for the player of the year in the nation. He's the freshman player of the year. He's been brilliant. And tonight he carried Kentucky on an off shooting night. 19 for him. 9 rebounds and 5 assists for Wall. But he had to foul to stop West Virginia and the clock.
A magnificent player that has had a spectacular freshman year, and it's going to have to be his teammates that get something done. Down 8 with 51.3 seconds left in regulation.
Many will wonder if that is indeed the last time they'll see this talented young guy in a blue and white uniform of Kentucky. They say that he's the best student, he's the hardest worker. Calipari said, you know, I've been presented with the perfect player and the perfect young man in this young guy from Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, Flowers, not a good free throw shooter. Let's see how he does here. 2-shot foul, both teams in the double bonus. A reminder again, tonight after the game, a night of drama and mystery. NCIS Los Angeles, then 48 hours mystery right after our action from Syracuse. Both missed and out of bounds to Kentucky.
Wellington Smith came pretty close to going over the back there. He's fortunate he didn't pick up a foul.
Ebanks applying some pressure just to force Kentucky to use a little clock as they bring it into the offensive end. Miller will fire the three. And the foul as Patterson is knocked down as they battle for the rebound. So West Virginia with the foul. Clock stopped. 41.2 seconds.
Bob Huggins substituting offense for defense. Casey Mitchell at the scorer's table to come in. And
Flowers' 5th foul. He leaves the game with 4 points, but his contribution won't show in that statistical sheet. Solid defense, Flowers.
Also hit that big three.
Patrick Patterson, junior from Huntington, West Virginia, recruited by the Mountaineers, had already committed to the University of Kentucky. He has 7 points to go with his 13 rebounds. Look who's coming in. Johnny West, the son of Jerry West, a junior from Memphis, plays rarely, only been in 17 games all year, but he is a good free throw shooter. Patterson coolly hits them both. It's a 2-possession game. Butler double teamed in the backcourt. Gets it to Mitchell. They don't foul. Mitchell, and timeout called by West Virginia. That's a very alert play by Deshaun Butler. He was worried about the 10-second count. Call time.
He gets a new 10 in the backcourt, and it was a very intelligent play of them to call timeout. Now, Casey Mitchell needed to look up the floor to find a receiver, but now there's a new 10-second count in the backcourt.
So the defense of Kentucky not rewarded as West Virginia gets the ball right back, and then reach and foul to stop the clock. Liggins will be disqualified. That is his 5th.
Critical free throws right now for Deshaun Butler. 32.5 seconds left. It is a 2-possession game. Just one of these two makes it a 3-possession game, and that much more unlikely that Kentucky can tie or take the lead in this game.
Meanwhile, West Virginia shooting so well at the line, 11 for 13 to start the game, but they're 8 for 15 cents. As you say, 1 out of 2 here is a mammoth 1-point score, forcing Kentucky to get 3 possessions to tie or lead.
And there's no one Bob Huggins would rather have at the line than Deshaun Butler.
So Wall and Liggins have fouled out. Missoula and Flowers out for West Virginia. Miller, Bledsoe with 4 each, and Wellington Smith has 4 for the Mountaineers. At the line is the most valuable player in the Big East tournament. The whole Big East once again. Deshaun Butler, the senior from Newark. He is the heart and soul of this team, and he misses. Oh, now here comes a big free throw attempt. 15 of the 17 points for Butler in the first half. Only 2 here in the second. His average is 17. But the senior drops in a most important free throw for both these teams. Now 30 seconds to go. Dotson, number 3, 4, 3, and down the bottom of the well.
No timeouts for Kentucky.
A 4-point game. Patterson finally has to foul. And that will send Kevin Jones to the other end. He's an average free throw shooter, 69%.
4-point game. Even if Jones is able to bang these both down, that makes it a 6-point game, a 2-possession game with 3s. And Kentucky, the guys that have to be guarded are Dotson and Miller.
Jones 1 for 3 from the line tonight. He has 12 points. Hit that one like an 80% shooter. Struck Bryant, fractured foot. Always smiling, even with the injury. His teammates say, you know, he's always happy, even though the rest of the season is over. Fractured foot earlier in practice this week. Rebound up high. Darius Miller. Dotson looking for the 3. He's short. Pulled down by Ebanks, and the quick foul by Kentucky. John Calipari wanted to foul on the 3-point attempt by Dotson.
Well, Dotson jumped into Cam Thurman, so whatever contact was created by the shooter, not by the defender. Calipari incredulous.
Darius Miller, the 3rd Wildcat to foul out. That gives Calipari a chance to bring his team over while he decides on the substitute for Miller. Let's take a look at that shot. You folks at home, call it. Is this a foul?
Cam Thurman closing out to the shooter. So he jumped into him there. Cam Thurman was straight up and down.
Pretty hard to whistle that for a foul.
No, you can't. I mean, if the shooter creates that contact by rule, it's not a foul.
Although we've seen many plays like that during the course of the tournament where the shooter leaning into the defender does get the call.
Yeah, it depends on whether the defender is straight up and down. You know, oftentimes it's miscalled.
Ebanks at the line, 76% his free throw percentage on the year. Just the sophomore. 6-point lead. Missoula, his heart, his hustle, and his scoring, unexpected scoring, is career high of 16. Now 17 he finished the night after his great performance before fouling out.
There's no way on the scouting report that Joe Missoula's name was in the top couple of scorers.
Time running out, 9, 8. Another miss from 3. Scramble along the baseline. 4.1 seconds left. Ball to Kentucky, but West Virginia, they can indeed. It's real. Bob Huggins' team is going to knock out the Wildcats tonight. Dotson's final shot is not there, and West Virginia goes to the Final Four, the first time in 51 years. Not since the Jerry West-led team in 1959 lost in the finals to California 71-70 have the Mountaineers made it to the Final Four. This battling, gritty team of Bob Huggins gets to go back.